Most people spend their whole life working to stay afloat while making someone else rich in the process. Let's change that today. People can literally stay stuck in this cycle of working to pay the bills and working to pay the bills and just never getting ahead. If you have a whole bunch of credit card debt or these super high car payments, or your spending habits just aren't very good, you're working for someone else and you're never going to be free. Today, I'll break down how to get out of this cycle, how to lower your expenses, and stop spending money on things that don't really matter to you and actually thrive when it comes to your finances. Because we cannot continue with this cycle of paying the bills to go to work, to pay the bills, to go to work, to pay the bills, to go to work. We have to elevate beyond this. So I feel that if you want to get ahead in life, you have to first look at your housing. Whether you're renting or you have a house, whichever you're doing, you want to keep your housing low. Now, I'm a huge advocate for owning a home, and I think that everyone should definitely be able to own a home, and everyone should try to get a home. That should be a goal. But I am not all for owning homes. I'm a huge advocate for renting as well, especially with the economy like it is today. Right now, it's probably more expensive to actually own a home because there's so many hidden costs that come with owning a home. And to be honest, you never really own your home. You're still making other people rich because you have to always pay your property taxes. So you're making your county rich or your city rich. But you want to keep your expenses as low as possible when it comes to owning a home or renting. Now with renting, you're definitely making the landlord rich, but there's also less expensive when it comes to renting because the expenses are at the cost of the landlord. But if you're renting, you don't want to rent for too long, maybe 3 to 6 years, because you want to really get into that house and start building that equity. But before you buy a house, be sure that you can afford it. Be sure that you can afford the payment that comes with it, but also have criteria before you go in. Know that you're looking for a $200,000 house or a $250,000 or a $300,000 house, and don't spend the max that the mortgage company gives you on how much you can afford for a house. And be sure to factor in that your property taxes and your homeowner insurance is going to be rising most likely every year. There's a lot of hidden costs that come to owning a home, like maintenance as well. So there's all these different things you have to think about. By making smart decisions when it comes to purchasing a home or when it comes to renting a place out, you will be able to break this cycle. And that's something that we're in the process of doing right now. Yes, we need our job to live, but we have this house hack that we live for free. So, we really don't need that much money to live. We don't need that many expenses to live. So it's just a lot easier when you have your housing taken care of. When it comes to jobs, one job pays the bill, but you don't want to rely on one job because you will really be stuck. You want to have multiple streams of income coming in. This is something that I'm working on all the time. I have my job. I want to have money coming in from YouTube. I want to have money coming in from some outside business that I've been working on. I want to have money coming in from my dividends, money coming in from my high yield savings accounts. I want to have money coming in from all these different places. We have money coming in from rental properties. We don't want to just rely on the job. And yes, the job provides the most money. We want to get money from other places, so we're not just relying on the job. And relying on the job gets you stuck. It has you stuck in this cycle of paying the bills, pay the bills, pay the bills, because the more money you make, the more your expenses are going to rise. Try to bring in income from different places. Have a side income, get a second job so you can kind of get out this rat race of just paying the bills, just paying your credit cards and not getting ahead. You want to get ahead of these things so you can start saving and investing to your future. So invest into your future, invest into your 401ks, invest into your Roth IRAs, invest into your brokerage accounts. This is how you get out of the rat race. This is how you get out of being a slave to your job. Invest into your future. So own stocks, be an owner of Tesla, invest in the SP 400, invest in the VOO, invest in the FSAIX. These are great things to invest into so you can have a retirement savings, so you can have that buffer for if something were ever happen to you. You still have your retirement account that will be sitting and waiting for you and hopefully fully funded by the time you retire, whether it's at 50, at 60, or at 40, 30, whenever you decide to retire. You want to have that money set aside so you can actually do it. And this is something that we're really focusing on right now. Of course, still enjoying life, but putting as much money as we can into retirement because we know that it's around the corner. Like, it will be here before you know it. And look into real estate. Like, make sure you understand real estate and how much it costs to actually invest into real estate because it costs a lot of money. We put a lot of money into this house, we put a lot of money into the other house, but that comes with investing into real estate. And just know that, you might get $100 to $200 extra after all the expenses are paid, after the mortgage and the insurance and the taxes are paid. You might have, $100, $200 left, and that is just the game of real estate. But the game really starts when you start stacking on rentals, when you get, 5 rentals that are giving you about $200 in cash flow. then we're talking. So look to build that real estate portfolio, but first we have to start saving, we have to start investing, we have to build a base before we go into these complex things of investing in the real estate or investing into these different kind of avenues that are not as straightforward as, just investing into the S&P 500. So my personal finance journey when it comes to investing, I invest into my 401k, I invest into my Roth IRA. I have a brokerage account. Now, the brokerage account is like a bridge account because I plan on retiring at 50. And hopefully when I retire at 50, I have access to a pension and my 401k. And then my bridge account will kind of help buffer between the retirement at 50 and then getting to that 59 and a half where I'll have access to my tax-free, penalty-free Roth IRA. That is kind of my journey, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now in order to eventually break free. And of course, always building an outside business, have something going on, something in the works. YouTube is like kind of my main focus right now, but then I also have other little businesses or little ventures that I want to do outside of YouTube and outside of my job. And the third thing is keeping your expenses low. Most people have a job, especially when they get raises, they increase their lifestyle. But if you keep your expenses low, then you can break the cycle and stop making other people rich. Literally, lifestyle inflation traps you. Like when you go out here and buy these $300,000 to $400,000 or $500,000 houses, when you could have afforded something way cheaper and you could have bought something way cheaper, it's just making sure that you work longer. So I don't want to hear you complaining you have to work longer hours or you have to work more days, but yet you're still buying these expensive houses. You're still buying these expensive cars because the things that you're doing and the way that you're talking is kind of the opposite of your actions. How can you say you want to retire early? How can you say you want to, be financially free, but yet you're buying houses at the top of your budget? But yet your mortgage payment is 40 to 50% of your income. It just doesn't make sense. So if you really want to break free of the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, if you want to stop paying other people, you want to stop paying other companies, then live below your means. By keeping your expenses low, this means you don't have to work for 40 plus years. By keeping your expenses low, you might only have to work for, 20 or 25 years, like I will hopefully be doing. I will be working for 22 more years because I'm keeping my expenses low. But of course, like I said, still living a good life. But I am not going to be living in a high cost of living area. I'm going to stay in the Midwest or, move down south, but always live in that price range of comfortability. I'm never going to overextend myself and basically force me to work longer or force me to make more money. Keep your expenses low. And that is truly a key to increasing your wealth. And keeping your expenses low helps you avoid lifestyle inflation. And one of the best ways to avoid lifestyle inflation is when your income does go up, then you invest more. If your income goes up by 1-2%, then you invest 1 or 2% of your income, and that will help you avoid lifestyle inflation because you'll never really see the money that you didn't really need because you were already living without it. And spend on things that matter to you. So for us, an unnecessary expense is that super expensive mortgage. So we're not paying for a super expensive mortgage. Even if we did have to pay for this mortgage, it will still be super low. Maybe 15 to 20% of our income will go to the mortgage, but we're actually spending money on vacations. We enjoy going out to eat, so that's where our money's going. So we're not spending money on things that don't even matter to us. The goal really isn't to make more, it's to need less. So one way I keep my expenses low is by house hacking. So if you don't understand what house hacking is basically renting out your room or living in a duplex and renting out the top or living in a fourplex and renting out the other 3 units. That's how you keep your expenses low, and that frees up a lot of money for us to invest. That frees up a lot of money for us to go on vacations. That frees up a lot of money for us to pay off our student loans. It frees up a lot of money. And some other ways that we cut our expenses is by not having car payments. We don't have a car payment. Our insurance on our cars is very low. It's like $120 or something like that. And that's for 2 cars. So we keep our expenses low by keeping the housing low, by keeping our cars low, and by keeping our food at a good percentage. So by keeping those 3 expenses low, we can still enjoy life and invest and save at the same time. And another thing that you can do in order to stop making other people rich is to monetize instead of consume. I still consume YouTube. I watch YouTube a lot, but I enjoy watching these finance channels. I enjoy watching these finance videos. So I said, why not just start my own channel? I said, why not try to monetize my channel? Why not try to speak to the people about the finances that I so much enjoy talking about? And I found that I really have a passion for talking about finances, so I don't have to talk my wife's head off anymore. I can now come on YouTube and talk about finances, but create, invest, and learn instead of watching other people do it. If you love watching vlogs, if you love watching cooking channels, record yourself cooking, record yourself vlogging, put in the effort to edit, put in the effort to create. And that's a way that you can get out of this rat race. I'm in the rat race. I have a full-time job, and maybe one day I'll leave it if my income from outside sources ever passes it. But that's the goal ultimately, is to become financially free. Now, whether that's next week or in 20 years, we will see, but it will definitely happen eventually. So how are you keeping your expenses low? What are some tips and tricks that you're doing right now in your life so you can get financially ahead and stop making other people rich? And if you guys know this video, then definitely subscribe, because I make about 2 videos a week and they're really informative. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.